Welcome Year 7s. We're going to learn how to do a rondo composition. We're going to compose a piece of music in the rondo form. Firstly, what is rondo form? Rondo forms a structure of music where the piece looks a bit like this diagram. It's a bit like a sandwich where you start with a theme. We'll call that section A, or the slice of bread. Next, after your theme, your main melody, you're going to move to a different contrasting section called letter B, or called an episode. Then we're going to go back to the theme, which is back to the main melody. Then onto another contrasting idea, section C, or sometimes we call it episode 2. Finally, we finish with the theme again. Now, longer rondo forms might have A, B, A, C, A, D, A, or A, B, A, C, A, D, A, E, A. It can go on, but the important thing is that the theme, which is section A, always comes back in between every contrasting section. It starts and it ends with a theme. So let's get right into it, and we're going to work out how to do this composition task. So first things first, there is a set of slides that you can follow along. The link is right there, so do check that out. And we've got these mini goals to help you know how far down the list that you've gone. First thing you want to do is to open up MuseScore and to start a new score. All right, now over here, we're going to title our piece Rondo Composition. And you don't need a subtitle, but for composer, that's you. So put your name there, by, and I'll put my name. You can put your name there. Go to next. All right, now over here, we will be composing for the treble clef. So just select treble clef and go next. Okay, a key signature. You don't need to worry about that. Leave it as blank. Leave the tempo as blank, and we'll click next. And now it asks you for the time signature. We're going to stick with 4/4. Number of bars. We're going to type in 10 because we want 10 bars in this piece. Click on finish, and you will have your composition all laid out right here. Rondo comp, it's got 10 bars all in the same line. Now, this composition will look a lot clearer when it's spaced out. So instead of having one line with 10 bars in it, we want 5 lines with 2 bars in each line. It's going to help us write each section out nice and clearly. To do that, you click on the bar line. When you click on it, it will go blue. Then you can press the enter key, which will put a line break there. I'll do that again on every second bar. So click on the line, press enter for the line break. Alternatively, there is this button, which is the same thing. This symbol means put a system break there. So if you click that, it will do the same thing as well. There we go. So now we've got a piece of music with 5 lines, 2 bars on each line. All right, next step, we're going to label each of these sections. Our piece should have the form A, B, A, C, A. We've got the theme on section A, followed by the episode 1, back to the theme, episode 2, and followed by the theme at the end. So to do this, we're going to add some rehearsal marks. To add rehearsal marks, click on the rest. This little symbol is a rest, and it goes blue when you click on it. And go to add, text, and rehearsal mark. The shortcut is Control M. When you do that, a little box will pop up here. You can type the word theme. Do the same for the second one. Control M is the shortcut, and we'll call this episode 1. Likewise, the third section goes back to theme, the fourth section goes to episode 2, and the final section, by 9 and 10, is theme. There we go. Now it's nicely marked out which section is which. At this stage, you've done the first goal, so we'll give it a tick. We'll just use the letter Y as a tick. Cool. It's important to save your work at this stage. So just go to File, Save. And when you save it, the important thing is that you put your name at the front of your file name. That's because teachers will receive lots and lots of files. We want to know that it's your work, so it's important to put your name in the file name. Mr. Sham Rondo is what I'm going to call mine. You can call it with your name there. Save. Okay, step 2, we're going to compose the theme. That's the first 2 bars. For the theme, you want to start by composing a rhythmic idea. So to do that, click the Note Input button, and we're just going to write the rhythm. We're just going to write it all on the same note, which is C, just so that it's nice and easy. I'm going to compose this rhythm. I'm going to write T, T, ta, ticka, ticka, T, T. So we want to start with quavers, T, T, then ta. then 4 tickers, ticker, and back to the quavers, T. What I did just then, and I'll just hit backspace so I can go backwards. That's another shortcut you want to know. Backspace will delete a note, just like it would delete a letter when you're typing normal words. What I did just then was I selected the duration or the note value with my mouse, and then I pressed the letter C so that the computer will put a C pitched note onto the music. So I started with T, then went on to ta, went to ticker. I'm going to select the semiquaver and press C 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to go back to T. The last bar, I'm going to use some ticker T's, which is another rhythm you may have learnt. Ticker T. So 2 semiquavers followed by a quaver. I'm selecting it with my mouse. If you want, you can use the numbers 3 for semiquavers, 4 for quavers, and 5 for crotchets if you want. I'm just going to use my mouse though. Alright, ticker T, ta is how I want to finish my rhythm. When you press escape, it will deselect or get out of note input mode so you can move things around. There we go, we've got the rhythm now. Let's hear what it sounds like. Pretty cool, but it's also quite boring because it's all on the same pitch. When we write a melody, we want to vary the use of pitch, making it go upwards and downwards so that it makes it interesting. As a guideline, I want you to just use the letters C, D, E, and G in your melody. That's to make sure it works. The home pitch is C because that's the home note. When we write a melody, we always want to start with the at home and we want to end at home. That makes it sound complete. Okay, but it will be too boring if every note is C, so we're going to make it go up and down and so on. So I'm going to start on C. The second note, I'm going to make it into D. So I'm going to type D. The third note, I want to make it into an E. So I'll type E. Whoops. I'm just going to drag that one up. Okay, now I want this note to be an E. This one to be a D, C. I'm going to go down to a G. Also, when you press your arrow keys, your ups and downs keys, you will move the notes up and down. So that's another shortcut you can try. E, G, E, D, E, D, C. G. Okay, so there's my little melody. It starts at home, it ends at home, and it goes up and down, and there's a peak around the halfway mark. That's the sign of a well-written melody. Let's have a listen. Pretty good. To have a listen to your music, you can press this play button. There we go. We've written our first section. Yay! So our first goal, composing a theme, is done. Alright, now episode 1. I'm going to suggest using the notes G, A, B, and D. That means the home has moved to G. It's a different note at home now. Also, to make it contrasting, we want to use different notes and different rhythmic patterns. If you make it all sound the same, it's going to sound like the theme. It won't really sound like an episode or a contrasting section. I'm going to start on G, and I'm going to use longer note values. Instead of using tickers, I'm going to use tars and TT so that it's longer. Right, so let's have a go. Start with rhythms. So I'll go crotchet, ta, ta, T, T, ta, T, 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 ta, ta. There's my rhythm. Ta, ta, T, T, ta, T, 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 ta, ta. You can hear that it's a bit calmer than the first melody because it kind of moves a bit slower with less notes in there. Okay, we're going to use these notes. So I'm going to start by jumping upwards, then back down, 2, 3, go. And now I want to hit the peak of my melody. Let's go up to the top note, and work our way back down. Whoops. Make this note into a D. You can also drag that up and down. D, and this one, A, G, G, and G. Okay. So notice that when I write my melody, I start it on the home note, G. I end it on the home note. That makes the melody sound complete. Let's have a listen to the two. We want them to be contrasting. So we'll click on the first note, hit the play button. Cool. So they sound quite different. Save your work, and we're going to move off to the third section. Now, before we do the third section, as you know, this piece is in rondo form. See this picture? The breads, or the theme, are all the same. So on MuseScore, the great thing is, if you want to copy an idea, you can just select it by clicking on the bar, holding the Shift button and clicking on the last bar, and that way you can select the whole section. the usual shortcuts of copy and paste still work. So you can go edit and copy, shortcuts Control C, and if we go to the third bar, we can likewise Control V to paste. We want the theme to be at the end as well. So you can also go to the end and paste that. Step 4, compose episode 2. Once again, episode 2 should sound contrasting. It should sound different to the theme or episode 1. It's got to be different, a different storyline. For this one, we're going to use a different set of notes. We're going to use A, B, C, and E. We've used some slow notes or some long note values. This time I'm going to use a lot of quick note values, lots of semiquavers. Let's give it a shot. Let's go semiquavers. 4 semiquavers, 4 semiquavers, and 4, and then a long note just to take a breather. Alright, and you know what? I'm just going to copy this rhythm. I like this rhythm. Tigga, 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 ta. Tigga, 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 ta. Okay, once we've got the rhythm, we can go ahead and compose the pitch. A, B, C, D, A, down to E, down to C, back E. Alright, let's have a listen to this episode 2. Ominous, contrasting, it also gets lower and gets higher. More action happening. Let's hear it. I'll just let it play till the end. Back to the happy theme. Yay! Our composition's done. We're going to save our work, Control S. If you want to do a little bit more, make it sound even more musical, more melodic, add a bit more, we can add optional extras. What do we mean by optional extras? We mean things like adding dynamics. Some of you guys might know about the louds and softs that are in music. We're talking about things like adding legato or slurs or staccatos. If you're a bit more advanced, you can have a go at some of those things. If you're new to music, this is fine. This works. But if you want to add optional extras, you're more than welcome to. So I'll go through how to do that. Let's start by adding dynamics. So you'll see that there's a palettes bar on the left of the screen. If you don't see it, you can just go to View and add that toolbar called Palettes. Over here, there's a bunch of different controls that you can do. We're going to open up the tab which says Dynamics. And so there's things like F for loud or P for soft. Okay, so I'm going to start moderately loud, MF. The second one, I reckon I want that to be softer because it's a calmer sound. So I'll go piano for soft. Okay, we're back to the theme. Let's go back to MF. The turbulent section, I want it to be loud and scary. And I want my piece to finish nice and strong. So I'll end it with a F as well. Okay, so that's how you can add dynamics. You can also put these signs called crescendos and diminuendos. It means the music getting louder or the music getting softer. Okay, so over here, this is a nice example. I want the music to start loud, but I want to get it quieter as the bar goes on. So what I did there was I selected the first note, held the shift button and hit this last note, and that way it selects a lot. I want to have a diminuendo, which means it's going to start loud and it's going to get softer. All right, we've got dynamics in here. What else can we do? You can also add slur marking. This sign is a slur marking. It means play smoothly. So this is a nice smooth section. So I'm going to go ahead, select those, and add a smooth marking there to tell the player to play that smoothly. If you want to test out what different sounds sound like, you might want to turn on the mixer. So instead of the grand piano sound, you can choose to have a harmonica sound play your music instead. Let's have a listen. Not a fan of that. Let's go. Ha. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. So notice that the dynamics are a part of that. I'm going to keep with that. At this point, your composition is done. So the last step that you need to do is you need to check and save and export your work. So once again, make sure you save your work. Now, the difference between saving and exporting. When you save a work, you're saving it so that you can work on it later. You can edit it later on. Go to export. And when you go to export, it looks a bit like the save box where you're creating a new document, but you can save it as a PDF. That way, you can post your music on Classroom and we can see it. So can you go ahead and save it as a PDF? through the export function. Likewise, go to export, and we want to export it as an MP3 file. There it is. That way we can hear your music when you post it on Classroom. It's done, so the last step is to post it on Google Classroom. All right, when you're in Classroom, you want to go to the Classworks tab, and there should be an assignment set for you to put this in. Okay, click on View Assignment, and you'll see on the right of your screen there will be this Add or Create button. You want to click on that and go to Files, because we're going to upload 3 files in here. And there'll be 3 files. Now, before you upload it, can you please check that the files work? So I'll just go ahead and open this to double check that it's what I want. Okay, so that looks pretty good. It's always worth checking. I'll just check this music file to make sure it works as well. Yep, I'm happy with that. So they're the files that you want to submit. I'm going to select all 3 of them, click the upload button. And once it's uploaded, and we've checked that the files work, you can go ahead and click the Mark as Done button. Okay. And it will ask you for whether you want to confirm that. So go ahead and click the Turn In button, and that way you have submitted your work. So there you go. That's how you complete the Rondo composition.